Before the fame, before the red carpets, before the name Michaelby, Jordan echoed through Hollywood like a thunderclap. There was just Mike, a kid with scuffed-up sneakers, a worn-out basketball, and a heart that beat in rhythm with every bounce of the ball. Back then, acting wasn't even a whisper in his world. It was hardwood courts, empty gyms late at night, and the relentless sound of the rim as he practiced shot after shot long after everyone else had gone home. He loved the game, not in the way people say they love something when it's easy, but in the way that makes you bleed for it, cry for it, push through pain for it. Basketball was home. His mom used to say he was born with a ball in his hand. Weekends weren't for hanging out or sleeping in. They were for traveling up and down the East Coast, chasing tournaments, sleeping in cheap motels, eating gas station snacks, and dreaming big under flickering hotel lights. There were no guarantees, just that dream. The way he played, you'd think he had something to prove, and he did. To the coaches who said he was too small, to the players who didn't take him seriously, to the silence that sometimes crept in when he felt like maybe he wasn't enough. He turned that silence into fire. People started noticing, not because he talked big, Mike wasn't about that, but because when the pressure hit, when the game was on the line, he didn't fold. He lit up. There was something different about him. Focused, obsessed even. There were nights when his hands were raw from the cold, playing outside because he couldn't get into the gym. Nights when his legs were screaming, but he kept running drills, chasing something only he could see. A future no one believed in yet. Every point, every rebound, every sprint down the court, it all meant something. He was chasing more than wins. He was chasing escape, purpose, identity. He was chasing the feeling that basketball gave him when everything else felt uncertain. You have to understand this to understand what comes next, because something is coming, something big. But back then, all he knew was the game, and he gave it everything. So yeah, before the cameras, before Killmonger, before Creed, there was Mike, the baller. And trust me, you'll want to hear what happened next. Just wait. It's worth it. He was unstoppable, fast, precise, explosive. Michael lived for the rush of the court, the pulse of the game, the roar of a crowd, even if it was just 20 parents, and a stray dog watching from the bleachers. Tournament after tournament, he built a name, not just as a scorer, but as someone you couldn't break. But the universe, sometimes, it tests the ones who want something too badly. It was just another game, just another tournament, nothing special. A regular move, a sudden pivot, the kind he'd done 1,000 times before. Except this time, something snapped. A crack, a scream, not from him, but from someone in the crowd. Then silence, the kind of silence that presses down on your chest. Pain shot through his leg like lightning. They carried him off the court. The gym lights buzzed above him like a broken memory. All he could think was, is this how it ends? For days, weeks, he laid there, staring at the ceiling, staring at the cast, listening to doctors say things like long recovery, and maybe not at the same level again. And yeah, he thought about quitting, more than once. The fire flickered, almost went out, but something inside, something stubborn and burning, refused to let go. He remembered the courts in Newark, the cold nights, the miles his mom drove, the sacrifices, the dreams. So he got up, crutches, then limps, then slow steps. Rehab was hell, not the dramatic kind, not loud or cinematic. Just slow, brutal repetition. He fell, he cried, he screamed into pillows when it felt like progress was impossible. But he kept going, every day, every single day, until he could run, until he could jump, until he could play. When he came back, He was different. Not just healed. Sharper. Wiser. Hungrier. And people saw it. He dominated youth tournaments. Became one of the names everyone whispered about. Coaches started circling again. Scouts nodded from the sidelines. He'd done the impossible. Come back stronger. And for a moment, it felt like everything was back on track. Like the pain, the injury, the doubts had all been a storm he'd survived. But then, life threw him another twist. Not on the court this time. Off it. One afternoon, without warning, he was called into a meeting with the team coach. It was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of silence you know means bad news before anyone says a word. The coach didn't even look him in the eye. Just said it straight. We're letting you go. No reason that made sense. Budget cuts, politics, favoritism. Maybe all of it, maybe none of it. All he knew was that the thing he'd built himself around, the thing he'd fought to come back to, was gone. Just like that. No warning. No explanation that mattered. Gone. He walked out of the gym that day and didn't go back. Not to practice. Not to the weight room. Not to any court at all. He didn't touch a basketball for weeks. It wasn't that he gave up. It was worse. He didn't know what to do. The fire that had driven every day of his life was quiet. He felt lost, like a map with no destination. The world moved around him. People went to class. Friends talked about colleges, futures, and he stood still, frozen. But here's the thing about Michael. He doesn't stay lost. Something in him refuses to. That stubborn part, that fire, it doesn't die. It just waits. Even on his worst days, even when the dreams felt like ash, he kept moving. Small things, jobs, workouts, trying to figure out what now. He didn't complain. He didn't post long rants. He just kept going, quietly. And then, one day, when he least expected it, something changed. Something so random, so strange, that if it had happened to someone else, they might have missed it. But not Michael. Not him. And trust me, this is where it starts to get crazy. You're gonna want to see what happens next. Don't go anywhere, because the next moment, it changes everything. He had nothing. No team. No court. No plan. No money. Just dreams that felt like they belonged to someone else now. Michael would walk the streets with his hoodie up, hands in his pockets, headphones on but no music playing, just trying to block out the noise of the world. The noise of failure, disappointment, lost direction. He wasn't angry, not really. He was just tired. Tired of almost. Tired of almost making it. Tired of chasing something that kept slipping through his fingers. His shoes were worn. His phone was barely holding charge. He didn't even know where he was walking half the time. Just moving, just breathing, just trying to figure out how to keep going when everything he'd built his identity around was gone. And then, on this one cold afternoon in the city, when he least expected anything to change, something happened. Something small. Something wild. He was crossing a street near a studio lot, not even realizing where he was, just walking like always when he heard someone shout behind him. "Hey, yo, are you? Wait, are you Michael B. Jordan?" He stopped, blinking, confused. "Yeah," he said slowly, wondering what this was. "Why?" The man who'd called out was with two other people, all three of them dressed sharp but relaxed, industry types. One of them stepped forward, looking him over like he was a puzzle piece they didn't even know they'd lost until that moment. "You look incredible," the guy said. "No, seriously. You ever acted before?" Michael laughed, this dry little laugh. "Like, what are you even talking about?" "Acted," he said. "Nah, man. I played ball. That's it." You ever thought about acting? The woman next to him asked, eyes bright. We've got this small project. We're casting. We need someone real, someone with presence. And you've got a look that people don't forget. He almost walked away. Thought it was a scam, a joke. But something in the way they looked at him, it wasn't fake. It wasn't a setup. They meant it. They saw something. And for a kid who just lost the one thing that made him feel seen, that meant something. So he said yes. Why not? What did he have to lose? First it was a few lines, then a scene, then another. The nerves were brutal. Cameras were nothing like a basketball court. Lights, scripts, marks on the floor. But there was rhythm in it, like the court. Flow, timing, energy. The same instincts he used to read defenders, he started using to read scenes. The same fire, the same obsession with detail. He didn't half-step. He trained. He studied. He practiced. He watched everything. And just like basketball, he didn't do it to be famous. He did it to be great. The people on set started noticing. Then casting agents. Then directors. Suddenly, he was in more rooms, better scripts, bigger roles. One film led to another. Audiences started recognizing his face. Then his name, Michael B. Jordan. Not the baller, the actor. And he rose fast. Because when you combine natural presence with work ethic that never sleeps, there's no limit. He brought something to the screen that wasn't fake. That wasn't trained into him at drama school. It was lived. The pain, the drive, the fight. People felt it when they watched him. Years passed. Roles stacked. Awards. Headlines. Magazines. He became the guy they all wanted. Not just because he looked good, but because he was good. He earned it. Every damn frame. One night, at a late-night interview on a big network show, the host leaned forward and asked, "Hey, Michael, is it true you were a basketball player before acting?" And he smiled. Not fake smiled. Really smiled. Thought for a second. "Yeah," he said. "I was. A long time ago. Ball was my first love." The crowd clapped. The host nodded. "Do you ever miss it?" "Sometimes," he said, "but life had different plans. I wouldn't change it. I still play with friends. Pick up games, you know. But this is where I'm meant to be now." And in that moment, looking back on everything, the fall, the climb, the silence, the randomness of it all, Michael knew he didn't lose anything. He just evolved. What he learned from basketball. The grit, the grind, the unshakable belief in yourself when no one else gets it. He carried that into everything he did. And that's why he made it. That's why his story matters. Not because he got lucky, but because even when everything was gone, even when he had no reason to believe, he still walked forward. Still showed up. Still kept going. That's what makes a star. That's what makes a legend.